Okay, Johnny, this one's got your number on it. Let's jam.
Hi, and welcome everyone to another episode of CinemaJam podcast, a podcast where two friends get together on a regular basis to watch movies, talk about movies, analyze them, and share our thoughts and analysis with everyone that is following this channel. I'm Pablo Velez, and my good friend Sebastian Gomez is joining me tonight, as usual.
Hi, Pablo.
Hi, Sebas. And tonight's episode of CinemaJam, it's more about an acknowledgement of the legacy of Sam Neill, the famous New Zealand actor who passed away today at the age of 79. Sebastian and I want to pay tribute to Sam Neill. He is one of those interesting character actors that, has played in so many movies that people don't realize that, and also has had his share of blockbusters, like with the Jurassic Park series. So just to kick off this mini jam sales, I wanted to ask you, like, your general thoughts on, Sam Neill, how you saw him as an actor, if it was like someone important to you as you were growing up watching movies, and, of all his movies, because he has a very extensive filmography. Which one?
More than 115 credits, 55 credits, 155 credits in IMDb alone. That's pretty big number.
That's a big number. So of all those movies, any movies that you would highlight and share with our followers?
Well, I mean, I definitely think when he made Jurassic Park, as Grant became basically in the general consciousness, that's probably his biggest role. Especially because he's part of Jurassic Park 3, and he was in Jurassic World Dominion, I think, as well, coming back to reprise his Grant role. But I also remember that he played Damien in the Omen Part 3, so that's another thing that he had in, that is funny, that he made one of the great characters. And of course, we remember Event Horizon. I mean, it was a good role there, but the movie is more memorable for its special effects and all that. As an actor, I really love the portrayal he did in Hunt of the Wilderpeople, the Taika Waititi movie. I think he did a great job, and I think that's probably his last best role that I remember, because even in Jurassic World Dominion, he was just playing Grant again, so it wasn't like a big deal. But that one, the Hunt of the Wilderpeople, he actually played a great role there, and he really, like, the chemistry with the kid in that movie from 2016 was great, and he was a grumpy old man. So, because he has a very serious face, you barely see him smiling in any of the movies that he plays. Even if he's a handsome fella, well, he was a handsome fella. I mean, that's why he played Damien, basically. But he was always so serious, so like a very, emotionally face, or kind of grumpy. So in Hunt of the Wilderpeople, he find the perfect combination of that one. Yeah.
I think on my side, Sebas, the movie that I think I'm always going to remember him for is In the Mouth of Madness.
That's the one from John Carpenter, right?
Yeah, and that was meant to be like John Carpenter's like big project. He was, he wasn't doing well at that moment in his movie making career. This was in the early 90s. This is from 1994, and he had his heyday in the 80s, especially with The Thing. That was a moment when he was emerging as this amazing horror director, but then he got lost towards the end of the decade. And this project, which is a movie that was based on actually an original work from Michael DeLuca, based on the works from H.P. Lovecraft. It was meant to be like that, like his his big, chef too for like his big project, and Sam Neill was the leading man. He was the main character. This investigator reporter John Trent basically goes nuts searching for this author and book. It's a really interesting movie. It's one of those first movies to actually do the whole metafictional, approach, when you have like a movie within a movie or a story within the story within the story, and it becomes like this puzzle, multiple layers. And I think he did an amazing portrayal of the leading character. And as you were saying, Sebas, he always has this very affected face, very emotional, serious, but at the same time, he has like this Nicolas Cage type of outbursts in this movie when he's going insane towards the end. I always found that very memorable. So from my side, I would recommend, to the people who are following this podcast to check out In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, to be honest, that's one of the ones I haven't seen from John Carpenter, so that's in my to watch list. So I really don't have a reference. I know I have heard a little bit about that one. I cannot really comment about that one, but I think he always had like an interesting career. I mean, there is this movie Possessor that is one of the ones I want to explore in the podcast sometime. I think it's from 1981. That is actually famous because it was actually banned from some countries. I think UK banned it and other countries. And he also, he has a great role as this. I think it was the second in command, Captain Borodin from The Hunt of the Red October. I really like that.
Which is an amazing movie. It's one of the best action movies from the 80s. I want to highlight this point in the podcast. He has a supporting role in that movie, but it's good. It's great.
He's pretty good, yeah.
When he's dying at some point, sorry for a spoiler alert, he gives this like weird speech about moving to Montana in the US. It doesn't make any sense, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, and yeah, that movie is great, and his role in that movie is amazing. Yeah, he's one of those faces that when you see him, he's gonna give everything. He really never did. You never felt like he was doing something halfway. He really studied the script and give everything in the script. And so that's one thing I like about him. Even silly movies like I think one of his last movies was Peter Rabbit 2. Like, well, he was one of the voices there. But this one movie that I mentioned, the Hunt of the Wilderpeople, is a comedy, and he did a great job there. So yeah, you always felt safe to have a Sam Neill in in one movie. So he's pretty good. I see that his latest appearances are mostly voiced, and I have never seen anything of the things he directed. He appears in like 9 direction credits as a director, but I have never seen anything else from that. But yeah, I mean, it's a sad thing when we lost one of these guys that we always remember, and it's just going to be part of the general consciousness forever, thanks to just the Jurassic Park movies and all the other classes where he participated.
So a little piece of trivia just before we wrap up this little homage to Sam Neill. So did you know that he was actually considered for 2 roles that went to Alan Rickman? Die Hard,
No.
1988, and also Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh,
the
that's
sheriff.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember the sheriff of Buckingham or something like that. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I mean,
Imagine those
it
movies.
could have been interesting. I mean, Alan Rickman has had such a presence as well, and as we mentioned, Sam Neill too serious for his for his own good. At least Alan Rickman is able to smile, I guess. But both of them will have been. I mean, Sam Neill could have done a great job as well. I'm not going to deny that possibility. It's an interesting alternative universe where we can dream about it.
100%. And I think with that, we can wrap up this podcast, this mini jam dedicated to Sam Neill, his memory, his legacy. And yeah, from our side, from the CinemaJam podcast, folks, Sebastian and myself, thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, and leave your comments and tell us which one is your favorite movie and which movie is the one that reminds you of Sam Neill, if it's Grant or any other of the characters that he played. Until next time, keep jamming about movies.
Until next time.